Hi, this is the Business Guy. So how do you protect yourself during a real estate market crash? I went through the real estate market crash of 2008, 2009, 2010, and boy, it really hit a lot of people hard. We had a lot of clients sued as a result. So what are the different ways you can be sued? First of all, let's say you have a 5-year note on a real estate investment property, and the bank says, okay, we're going to call that note due because the 5-year time period has expired. They take a look at that property, and it was worth $500,000. Now it's worth $350,000, and you want to go refinance. And you have to because the note's due. And say you have a $450,000 balance or a $400,000 balance, and now when things get dicey, they only want to lend you 70% of the value of that property, maybe 80% max. And they say, hey, if you want to refinance this thing, you're going to have to bring some money to the table. Here's what also happens. You're renting that house out for $5,000 a month, and now the market only supports $3,500 a month. Let's say you have 10 rental homes or apartments out there, and using those numbers, that's 10 times 1,500. That's a $15,000 decrease in your income every month. Ouch. Or let's say you had an adjustable rate mortgage. You were paying 2.75%. Now your mortgage payment is based on a 7% interest rate. That's a huge spike in your mortgage payment every month. Let's say you can't afford to pay it. Here's another big one we saw during the real estate bust. We had people investing together in development projects. The development project goes bust. I remember this one guy, him and his partner were both getting their socks sewed off. So during real estate crashes, what happens is the economy crashes, real estate values crash, and you can't sue the market. So instead, people start suing each other. And if you get a loan on real estate, like investment property, the bank's going to want to have you personally guarantee that loan. And if you can't pay that loan, they're going to come after you personally. So even if you have your real estate protected, let's say you have your real estate in LLCs, land trusts, you have equity stripping liens on your properties, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But over here, you have a bank account balance, you have a stock market portfolio, and the bank wants to sue you. They want to get a judgment against you, and they want to take that money out of your account. So your creditor goes over there and they get a judgment against you. Your creditor can go straight down to the bank or brokerage house and submit a writ of garnishment, freezing those assets, and this will instruct the bank to hold those funds for the creditor, and they won't let you withdraw any of your own money until that judgment is satisfied, or they simply empty your bank account and keep it for themselves. Or the bank gets a judgment over here because of an investment property. They record that lien in the county recorder's office, and that results in a lien on your personal residence, the place where you live. So let's take a look and see what we should do during a real estate market crash, how to protect your liquid assets, how to protect your real estate. And we can see what happened here. I mean, here's the median home price in the United States. You see a big jump up to 2007, and then 2008, 9, and 10, you had this great big huge crash here. So look at the angle of that increase. It's a pretty steady angle where home values trended up between about 1990 and 2007, and then you have this big crash. How does the old saying go, what goes up must come down? Well, look what happened between 2020 and 2022. You had this great big huge spike. It's the steepest increase in home values we've had in the history of our country. What goes up must do what? And that's what's happening here. You can see this is starting to trend this way. Now here's the thing. People are saying, well, the supply is too low. It's lower than the demand. Yeah, but what's happening is with a great big huge spike in interest rates, the values we're seeing here they're not sustainable anymore. People can't afford the monthly payment on a broad scale. So economists say there's going to be a recession next year and especially the year after, and these values have to drop. The question is how far? We just don't know. So what do? Maybe all of these properties are fine here, but you have a problem with this one over here, and this is the one that results in the lawsuit. So we have to protect all of these over here from this one over here. Otherwise, a lawsuit on this particular property here can affect everything else that you own. So the solution is we put each of these properties into a land trust for privacy of ownership. We make an LLC the beneficiary of each land trust. You have legal protection. For your personal residence, we put it into a land trust too, and then we make a Wyoming LLC the trustee of all of these land trusts. And in the Wyoming LLC, you have a nominee manager so that your name doesn't show up in the public records as the manager of this LLC, and we can provide all this for you. Then what we do in turn is we take another LLC, preferably in Wyoming or the Caribbean island of Nevis, and we record equity stripping liens against all these properties. That is an equity line of credit, so there's no money changing hands, but when somebody looks in the public records, it looks like all these properties are mortgaged to the hilt. You can see our video entitled Real Estate Asset Protection. For your liquid assets, here's what what we'll do. You might have a checking account at home, and that checking account is in an LLC, so you have some protection and privacy. You might have a little account in your own name, but you want to keep the bulk of your cash and your stock market investments in a structure like what we're seeing here. So we have an LLC in the Caribbean island of Nevis. Why Nevis? Because that jurisdiction offers the strongest asset protection for LLCs. And then the strongest asset protection tool in the world is the Cook Islands Trust that owns this Nevis LLC. You have a bank account in the Nevis LLC, and you're the manager, the signatory on the bank account. Our trustee / law firm is the trustee of your trust. I've had a relationship with our personnel there for about 27 years. You can have a stock market portfolio in here, a bank account in here, and again, you're the signatory. When the bad thing happens and those assets are threatened, you can have our trustee / law firm step in to protect you. So that when the U.S. courts say, give me the money, our offshore law firm does not have to comply. So during a real estate market crash, and there is going to be a real estate market crash, we just don't know how much. You have value decreases, you have rent decreases, you have adjustable rate mortgage, interest rates going up, and with investment property, most lenders want you to give a personal guarantee so they can come after your personal assets if you're not able to pay the mortgage. And we had tons of clients coming to us from 2008 to 2011 with a bank foreclosed on property and they went after their cash for the balance. So that's what we do to protect the rest of your real estate. We put every piece of property into a separate land trust for privacy of ownership. We make LLCs the beneficiaries of those land trusts. We record equity stripping liens against those properties. Then if needed, we get a third-party lender to purchase those mortgages against your properties and put the proceeds into your offshore trust. That way your domestic tangible assets are protected and the liquid cash goes offshore into the most powerful structure known to mankind, the Cook Islands Asset Protection Trust. So hopefully the recession that's coming up doesn't hit you too hard, but if it does and somebody starts throwing flaming legal darts at you, you know there's a way to protect you. So please click like below it. I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already so that when more videos come out like this, you'll be up to date right away. We'll see you next time. This is The Business Guy.